Before that, we heard a short piece from Dr. Poet. I'm not sure of the title. I met him the other day and got to talking, but he has some really nice credentials and what have you as far as his work. He rode the rails throughout the United States and does that now to some degree and performs and does a lot of really cool things. He just gave me a cassette. There isn't any liner notes, so to speak, but we'll try to get him on the program in the next couple of weeks if he's available. But a lot of really cool things about that, riding the rails and, experiencing America in this recession and what have you. And it's very, very interesting. A nice fellow. His real name is, let me see, Kevin. What's his last name? I forget. Anyway, he's a heck of a good guy. And I have it there. Where Kevin McKenna, and that's right. And he's here pretty locally, but they have all these other really cool things that he does, like they have this hobo association, and there's a lot of people that are involved, and they like going around riding the rails and doing all that, not just because they got to, but they like to do that. All right, before Dr. Poet, a.k.a. Kevin McKenna.
Please join me for a very special edition of Songs this Friday, April 3rd, 1992 at 6 a.m. The in-studio guest will be Dr. Poet, also known as Kevin McKenna. We will hear his music, poetry, and talk about mulligan stew and riding the rails across the USA. Hoboing it. Join me, John Chartrand, Friday at 6 a.m. for Hobo Times on Songs.
Good morning, Los Angeles. You're listening to Songs on KPFK. Today is Friday, April 3rd, 1992. Good morning to you all. We have a very exciting and special program for you today. In-studio guest will be Dr. Poet, a.k.a. Kevin McKenna, and friends, so I want to encourage you to stay with me. We're going to have some live performance, some poetry. It really ought to be a great time, so I encourage you to stay with me here on the best radio station in all of Southern California, yours and mine favorite radio stations. Well, I have some exciting news for all of you. If you just tuned in this morning, you're listening to Songs on KPFK. In-studio guest with me is Kevin McKenna. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, John. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
I hope that isn't too early for you.
I was up at 3 o'clock, actually. I have a baby, and the baby wakes me up, so I'm up.
Guys, sounds like she's is a girl? Is she
Boy, Cody.
Cody?
Right.
Pretty young?
10 weeks.
10 weeks. That is a newborn. Brand new
Right.
to planet Earth.
Right.
And also sitting with you is...
This is Q Card McNulty. He's my percussionist and my harmonica player. He's going to do a couple of cuts with me today.
So, how about, could you give us a little sampling of something you'd like to do?
Okay, this first song is called Only a Hobo. Been on the road since I was 17. Met a lot of men, some kind, some mean. Seen a lot of sinning, heard a lot of prayers. Rode coast to coast, never paid a fare. Dandelion coffee in the hot noon sun. Freight train rumbling. How's how now I'm on the run. My belly's rumbling. Some call me tramp, others call me bum. Work when I'm hungry, sing when I'm done. Oh, yeah, hobo, riding in the rain. Oh, yeah, hobo, Others call me bum. Work when I'm hungry. Running in the rain. I'm only a hobo trying to get you. Small towns ain't sure romantic. Freight train rumbling. One night stands and second chances. My belly's grumbling. Some call me tramp, others call me bum. Work when I'm hungry, so when I'm done. I'm a hobo, running in the rain. I'm only a hobo, trying to keep you only a hobo, only a hobo, trying to get you only a hobo, only a hobo, trying to get you.
Yeah,
Right.
that was really lovely. It sounds good too. Gosh, all right.
I can't get my earphones out.
It's on the table. There should be some way to turn it up a little, or I can ask Brian to come in there.
Okay, because I couldn't hear it. I didn't know if I was coming out or not.
Should be. There it is. Can you hear now? And there should be an adjustment up.
Well, I can hear you all right. I guess I can hear myself now. It's just a little bit tough. Okay, go ahead.
So, only a hobo. Tell me about being a hobo.
Well, hobos started actually. I don't know. Hobos actually built America. I don't know if people know about the history of hobos. But hobos started out when people came home from the Civil War. They had no way to get home. A lot of them, their horses were dead or they were lame or something. So they'd hop on freight trains. It was a good way home. And when they got home, they found they might not have a home. And they went out in the rails looking for work. And they became hoboys, which meant they took the hoe and they started planting the fields. And they actually worked on the railroads. And they helped build cities around the railroads. And they helped build America. So there's a real history with hobos. They're like cowboys or something. There's a Americana involved. It isn't just homeless people. A lot of people think hobos are homeless people. Hobos are working men who go around and they, farm and build. And, there's a lot of different occupations hobos have.
Did you do that?
No, actually, I got interested in hobos years ago when a friend of mine, Bob Hopkins Santa Fe Bo, who's the president of the National Hobo Association, did a documentary film for PBS. And I watched him go through this film, and I said, gee, this is very interesting. And I was always sort of a rambling type of guy, and I was into traveling and doing things. And I said, this is a real interesting thing. So I started hanging around with the hobos and did a couple of things with him when he started the National Hobo Association. I joined. I was one of the first members, and been doing it ever since. It's great, actually.
What do you do in the National Association of Hobos?
The National Hobo Association is a group of 40-something hundred, some real hobos and some people that we have doctors. We have Melvin Belli as one of our members. We have professional people, actors and producers, and we go on some trips. We did Las Vegas. We had our music poetry festival last year in Las Vegas, and a lot of us rode the rails there. Then we go to Railroad Days up in Dunsmuir, and we do a show up there, and we ride the rails. So we do a little rail ride, and we get together every second Tuesday of the month, and I perform at Christie's restaurant in Beverly Hills. And we do a show there, and we get together and swap rail stories and have a good old time. And we have a newspaper actually that goes out every other month called Hobo Times, and you can subscribe to it and get it yourself if you want. Actually, I'll send you a copy.
Okay, sounds great. Would you like to do another song?
Sure. This one is about a traveling musician. There's a million stars in the heavens. Stew is hot in the pot. My guitar, it's filled with daydreams. One more double shot. I can hear the freight train rumbling. I can hear that lone wolf cry. Remembering all the miles I've been, still I'm trying to fly. I'm a rambler and a drifter. I never stay too long. Just give me time to pass my hat and sing an old train song. Just give me time to pass my hat and sing an old train song. I work as a wandering minstrel who's somewhat down on his luck. If you like my music, I could use standing on the corner in the city of my choice. I'm a stranger in the dead of night, a faint and unknown voice, and I'm leaving in the morning on a train to who knows where. A stranger on an endless tour who never pays a fare. 'Cause I'm a rambler and a drifter, and I never stay too long. Just give me time to pass the hat and sing an old train song. Just give me time to pass my hat and sing this old train song. I work as a wandering minstrel who's somewhat down on his luck. Oh, if you like my music, if you like my music, I could use a buck. Oh, I could use a buck. Oh, I could use a buck. You'd buy me a shave, a glass of red. I could use a buck. Oh, I could use a buck.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Bring up your mic a little bit.
Yeah, that was a lot better. Thank you. I can hear myself that time. Yeah.
We also talked about having a little poetry on this morning. You do write the songs are very lyrical, and but also poetry too.
Yeah, I started out as a poet, and when I was about 16, I started writing poetry. Actually, for a high school literature class, they asked us to write a poem, and I wrote one. It was the best thing I did all year, so I kept writing poetry. And when I was about 19 or 20, a girlfriend gave me a guitar, and said, geez, you should put the poetry to music. So I started doing a little bit of both. Would you like to hear a poem?
Sure.
This is called Entwined. The ball of twine unrolls again, and so the ink flows from my pen. To write of truth I humbly try, as time in turn will pass me by. Stripped of everything but my soul, the pain in life, the tears I control. It's more than a meaning found at the end, a smooth, thin path I die to defend. The next road sign warns to beware, like a page from my life I someday must tear. The stands believed in that never were taken, the dreams of youth my age has forsaken. Some think of stories why they are born, make up dances to ease the forlorn. Though I chose a trail very few followed, I tried to return what I had borrowed. My poems are traced from a lost illusion to paint a portrait with bits of confusion. They wipe the canvas with a palette knife, revealing an image portraying my life. I render a circus where critics are clowns, playing to children in tired-tinted towns, a prayer for the artist alone at night, who stumbles blindly as he claws out his sight. Still all these feelings are swayed by a goal that creases my fate before I can fold, like some silver serpent spread on my bed, foaming at the mouth and spitting out lead. Here broken angels have been taught to turn tricks, while matchbox castles are framed in the sticks. I pick up the twine and I found it was bound to a prayer in my pocket and the dust on the ground.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Thank you.
How old were you when you wrote that?
I was about 30. I'm about 10 years older than that now, so it's a while back.
Were you traveling around when you wrote that? Where were you living? Were you living down?
Actually, I just spent all my money trying to get this Rockstar game that I invented. I gave you one together.
Yeah.
And it was the last of my money, and I ended up sleeping on the roof of the house that I sold for a couple of days until I took it over. And I ended up going to Hawaii for a couple of months after that, and I was about ready to travel. It was when I first started getting into the hobo thing about that time, about 1980, 1979.
So what about that new Rockstar game? That's pretty cool. Tell me about that. You have a lot of really interesting paper, so to speak. Different newspapers writing about it, as well as for your performances and being involved with it. But tell me a little bit about the game.
The game I invented about 10 years ago, and it got picked up by the rock stars. The rock stars all started playing Michael Jackson and Fleetwood Mac. John McVie bought a dozen of them for Christmas presents, and all of a sudden the newspapers picked it up. Actually, it was too big for us. We sold mostly all of them out real quick and never really manufactured anymore. And someday if I can find a big backer out there, please come and help me remanufacture it, and we'll do it again, But it was very successful. It was on MTV, and the Casey Kasem show did something about it, so it was pretty cool. We had a good time.
It says you're an entrepreneur and an inventor or something like that.
Well, that was the Rockstar game. I invented that. I guess that would make me an entrepreneur. I don't know.
It is. How about another song? You wanna? This is cooking.
Oh, great! Thank you. This one's called "I Can't Look Back," and I'd like to dedicate this to Sabrina, Cody, and Candace. Big train is singing my lullaby tonight. Rhythm of the rail, morning Mr. Right. Hear her song is calling me from the eastern green and spring. Have to go ride the road, was take off my wedding ring. Freight train is singing haunting melody. Have to go ride those rails, Please remember me. Can't look up when I'm moving on. Can't look back, it would take too long. Can't look back, can't look back. Can't look back when I'm moving on. Can't look back, it would take too long. Can't look back, must be on. Left my home and family, ride the restless rail. Life is tough, often rough, sometimes getting out of jail. I know my son, he cries for me, and I pray for him at night. But I had to go, I got free, whether it was wrong or right. Can't look back when I'm moving on. Can't look back, it would take too long. Can't look back, I can't look back. Can't look back when I'm moving on. Can't look back, it would take too long. Can't look back, must be on my way today. A little cold there, I'm sorry.
Well, it's change of weather, you know, that'll get you down.
Last couple of days.
So there was, in one of the songs I heard, which I thought was really, I like one of the part of it. And I mean, I like the songs, but one line in there I really like: swapping stories for food. So where did that come from?
It comes from actually a poem. Let me see if I can remember it. The jungle fire flickers, stories swapped for food, mulligan stew for everyone, and wine to set the mood. And I sit back taking everything, living day to day. I'm not worried about tomorrow, 'cause tonight I'm on my way. And that stories for food in a hobo jungle, where the hobos jungle up. They get off the train, they're not always on the train. They get a campfire going, and they make a mulligan stew. And mulligan stew is you take what you got, you put it in a pot, you heat it till it's hot, and you eat it. Now, whether, you add something or not, you're welcome to the stew. They share. The hobos share. They're big-hearted people. And everybody sits around, and, you tell a story, and you get a bowl of soup, You sing a song, you get a glass of beer or whatever. If I get something, you got something. That's how, because a lot of times you don't have anything, and it's nice to pass a little bit of what you got around,
Sure. So, how about a story? Do you have a story you could tell me, something you might have told at some time?
Well, the other night I was in a hobo jungle, okay? And I was playing a couple of songs, and this hobo comes hopping up, all smiley, And he had one shoe on, and I said to the hobo, "Hey, did you lose one of your shoes?" And he says, "No, man, I found one." And that's a hobo
That's so
philosophy.
Cool. So, tell me about, you play at Christie's.
I'll play there the second Tuesday of the month. I'll be there the 14th, and I'll have my whole band there. I like to give my band the plug. They didn't all make it.
Yeah,
They didn't all make it. It's the Hobros, and there's Victimized, there's Artman Adam, and we have Jungle Joey Dyer, and we have Cue Card Keith McNulty. And Keith made it today. The other guys, they were sleeping in. They had a couple of things to do.
Keith, Keith, we haven't heard from you this morning. What do you do besides hobo with Kevin here?
Well, I travel with Bob Pope for a living. I work for him.
Oh, is that right?
That's what they call me, Cue Card. I do his cue cards for him. So I've been into traveling since I was a kid, and I met Kevin a while back. I've always been interested in railroads, too, and it was a match made in heaven, I suppose.
Do you hop the freights much? You guys go someplace, go up to like Las Vegas or to Palm Springs?
We're going to be going. Actually, if you want to come, we shouldn't say because, it is illegal. We're going to catch up. But if you want to come, we're going to be going to Dunsmuir, which is the foot of Mount Shasta, in the middle of June. and we're going to hop up there, and we're going to stay for like 3 days. We're going to do a little festival up there, Railroad Days in Dunsmuir, and then we're going to hop on back. If you want to come, we'll probably be able to find you a grainer or a boxcar.
When you travel, do you carry a large steel bar of any kind? Because I hear there isn't a way to open the box from the inside
No,
out.
we don't want to break into anything.
Oh no, I know, not break in, so you can get, like if you're in there and the door closed, you can't get out.
Right. I usually ride on a grainer. I don't know if you know what the grainer is,
Sure.
but that's the outside, and they have a little porch there. And I like the grainer. It's like a Cadillac convertible, I mean, I sit there, put my sleeping bag down. You can't really hear the guitar too well because it's rumbling so much, but I like the grainers. Now, I'll take a box if it's open. But, you have to be careful. I'm not telling people to go hop freight trains because you should know something about it. You can get hurt. We have shifting loads, and there's, different things that can happen to you. So don't just go out there, everybody listening, and think this is going to be a big fun thing. If you're interested in riding the freight trains, I'd, tell you to call or get in touch with the National Hobo Association and get some of the literature, and they'll tell you the safer ways of doing this. I'm not advocating everybody go out and jumping on a freight train.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Little disclaimer here.
Disclaimer. So, I was interested. Where was your favorite spot, possibly, or a place you've seen while riding along? Is there any place that, in particular?
Dunsmuir, like I said, that we're going to is beautiful. So, foot of Mount Shasta, it goes right up the Sacramento River, and it goes almost to the Oregon border, which is just an absolutely gorgeous. That's actually where they had that toxic spill about 2 years ago, last year, and I think that's mostly cleaned up. But it's a beautiful trip up there.
Is that SP Direct?
That's SP, but it's the Rio Grande that's taking it over. SP is bought it out, and it's we don't take it from LA. We get it
Roseville.
Roseville, exactly, and it takes about 4 or 6 hours to get up there from there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we drive sometimes. Sometimes we'll rent a van. A lot of our hobos are like doctors and lawyers and things like that. We're professional people who do this as recreation. We don't really live on the rails. I have a house in Burbank, and so this is part-time for me also.
How about a song?
Sure. Let's see what can we do here. How about On the Fly, Kitchen and On the Fly. Waiting in a freight train, trying to pop a train. Wolves are trying to push my foot up the top of the rain. Sky is growing darker, sun no longer shines. I'm looking for a free ride. I'm leaving you behind. Oh, time, I got no time. I've no time to say goodbye. Pitching it on the fly. Pitching it on the fly. Slept in many hometown beds, broke a lot of young hearts. Riding in the junction, maybe when the west and east track flies. See my legs going easy, I can no longer stand around. I'm looking for a dark sky, getting out of town. Good time, I got no time. No time to say goodbye. Kitchen it on the fire. Kitchen it on the fire. Seen a lot of lazy sunsets, it's a cool morning dew. Even chair pots for breakfast, down to Morgan's good. Trying to catch a grin, so I can't sing my song. Thank you.
Heck yeah. You're listening to songs on KPFK 90.7 FM. My name is John Chartrand. This morning we have Kevin McKenna, and being accompanied with Kevin on percussion and the harp, and it's hope you all are having a real good time. Dr. Poet,
Yes.
aka Kevin McKenna, or vice versa. Where did that come from? How did you get Dr. Poet? How did you get that handle?
Most people on the road have road names, whether it's because they're wanted or because, they have some specialty. And I get the road name of Dr. Poet is, I used to teach first aid at one time, and I'm a poet. So I was sitting out in back of a bar in Beverly Hills, actually, with a bunch of hobos at the end of a hobo meeting, and I was reciting some poetry, and somebody says, "You're Dr. Poet," and it's stuck ever since. And he's got Q Card McNulty. Now I'll give you a road name, actually, Radio John or something, But most of the hobos, we have Santa Fe Bo, we have Itchy Foot, we have Hop Along Chet, we have quite a few different Road Hog, and most of our hobos all have their road names.
You were telling me about the what would a hobo meeting be like? Would people just get together and have some mulligan stew?
Well, sometimes we have our Thanksgiving. We go out to the hobo jungles, actually, and make a big mulligan stew that the National Hobo Association provides, and we bring the hobos beer, and we go out there and, mix the real hobos. A meeting over in Beverly Hills is more upscaled. People might be having dinner or, have a few beers. We get a $2 hobo beer that night over there, so everybody should go. It's Christie's Restaurant in Wilshire Boulevard. Not sure the exact address, but it's 1 block east of La Cienega, next to the Wilshire Theater, and I'll be there every second Tuesday of the month. And also we have the Hobo Poetry and Music Festival. If you are a music and hobo music and poetry fan, we're going to have a big festival at Christie's the 25th of April from 1 to 5 in the afternoon, and we should have hobos from all over the country appearing, and it should be a real big show. I'll be there with the band, and we're going to have a real good show. You're invited, John.
Thank you. Some of the people around here, they were real excited about the show this morning. They heard the promotional, and they thought it sounded really great, but they didn't think this country could support hobos because of the economic crisis. And you're here, and you're telling me that there's hobos going around doing just what you were telling me a little bit earlier, telling all of us that a little bit earlier. That's that's what their assumption was, that you just couldn't be able to live free and go and work when you needed to, and
Well, there's a lot of people do it now. Besides just the hobos with the trains, we have a new breed of hobos we call rubber tramps. And those are the people with RV vehicles, and they travel all over the country in their, campers and their cars. Some of them sleep in their cars or their, vans or something. And they're a new form of hobos, the RV hobos, and we call them rubber tramps. The old trainers call them rubber tramps, and they're a form of hobos also.
In one of your songs, I remember you're talking about that you weren't going to worry about everything because you had enough to eat that night, and you were just fine. I really like that. I like that. That was really cool.
Well, that's the hobo's philosophy. Hobos are self-reliant. We have a hobo, the Prince of Hobos comes down here for a lot of hobo meetings, and he'll just bring one thing. He'll bring a sleeping bag maybe, but he'll bring a little spray can like of Windex, and he'll go out before the hobo meeting to get his beer money, and he'll spray some windows and wash some stores and stuff, and he'll make $20, $30, and he'll get his beer money for the night. He comes to a strange town, but he has his way of making his money. And that's what a hobo is. He can come into a strange town and make a buck, Whether me, I can sit down maybe on the corner and play my guitar with the case open, Some way of making a buck, That's self-reliance of a hobo.
You talk about the poetry festival coming up. How about another poem. Do you have one you can do?
Let's see. Trying to think. I didn't bring all my written down hobo poems.
Well, just do anyone. Oh, they've been lovely so far.
Okay. Let's see. What one will I do here? Can I do another song instead?
Do another song,
Okay,
absolutely.
good. I'll give you a poem in the beginning of this song, okay? This one's called The Freight Train, She's My Wife. Some men sleep in beds. Some men sleep around. But a hobo, he sleeps under the stars, in the dirt, on the ground. That's 'cause he's married to a lady with a dirty face who sings him traveling lullabies, taking him place to place. Late at night, in an open boxcar, searching for America, wishing on a star. The sky, it's my ceiling. Moonbeams are my life. Mountains, purple majesty. Wealth is in my sight. And I'm walking the edge, riding on those rails. I'm walking the edge, riding on the rails, and I'm talking to myself at night, riding down on nails, and I'm talking to myself at night. Everything has failed, and the tracks are long with memories. Nights they're long with life. My home's a hobo jungle. The freight train, she's my wife. Oh yeah, she's my wife. Oh yeah, she's my wife. Sometimes I'm scared, I'm lonely. Watch the miles fade away. Sometimes the light in a farmhouse makes me want to stay. As I pass the graveyards, schoolyards, young girls on a farm, thinking about a plot of earth, woman on my arm, and I'm walking the edge, riding on those rails. I'm walking the edge, riding on the rails, and I'm talking to myself at night, riding down on nails, and I'm talking to myself at night. Everything has failed, and those tracks, they're long with memories. Nights, they're long with life. My home's a hobo jungle, and the freight train, she's my wife. Oh yeah, she's my wife. Oh yeah, she's my wife. She's my wife. Oh my wife. She's my wife. Oh my wife. And I'm walking the edge, walking the edge, walking the edge, yeah. Walking, walking the edge.
Kevin McKenna, yeah, aka Dr. Poet. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Sometimes I feel this radio program's my wife. I tell you, this is what I care about, and I devote all my attention to. This is what I like best.
Great. Well, you do a good job at it. I've been listening to your show. It's a really good show.
Keith, Being Bob Hope's cue card specialist, is that hard to do? I hear people, they make jokes about people when they're moving those cards, but that's very interesting. That's an unusual kind of thing.
Well, if you're sleeping, he'll let you know. But he's a great guy to work for. He's always treated me very well, and been all over the Philippines, and we went over to entertain the troops, which was a lot of fun.
Did you go to? Did he go over to Saudi Arabia and stuff?
I was in Riyadh Christmas Day last year.
Is that right?
Entertaining troops, and it was a lot of fun. And he travels all around, and he's still going strong. He's alert and as sharp as he ever was.
He's like 80.
He's 88.
88.
Yeah. But I've been with him since 1979, so it's been quite a ride.
Can I make a couple of announcements?
Absolutely, go right ahead.
Okay, yeah, we're looking for a drummer. If anybody out there is interested in drumming with Dr. Poet, looking for a drummer. We're also looking for a beer commercial. We're looking for a beer commercial desperately. Please, if I don't mean to make personal announcement. And also watch out for the upcoming movie that Bob Hopkins, our Santa Fe Beau, has written. He's got 2 of them out there that one was bought by a big producer and should be coming out pretty soon. The other one, he's looking for some backing. It's called Rail Fever, all about hobos and a girl detective, real interesting. Any producers out there looking for a movie? And we're doing a documentary on Dr. Poet that should be on PBS or cable pretty soon. SCI International Productions is doing that. A good friend of mine over there, Craig Amabello, set it up, and we're doing a documentary, so watch for that. Those are my plugs. That's all the plugs I'll do, and thank you very much for the plugs.
Oh, that's right. My plug now is to wish my father a happy birthday. Well, we won't say how old
Happy
you are.
birthday, Father.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dad. I'll see you after the show at some point in the morning. He listens occasionally. He works in the freight business, the rail freight business. My family has, for most of the century anyway.
That's great.
Yeah.
So he must know a little bit about hobos and stuff.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but to some degree. But he works. He moves those tank cars. Those black cylinders. That's what he does. And
great. What railroad?
Well, he owns and operates the cars.
Wow.
Vegetable oils. That's what he ships. A lot of vegetable oils, corn oil. I don't know, saffron, all that stuff. Anyway, well.
Happy birthday, Pop.
Happy birthday, Dad. I'm interested in some of the what do you call the hobo jungles. Now, why is that a hobo jungle? It sounds like there's something else going on there. It isn't a lot of brotherly love necessarily. At least it sounds like that. I've never been to one.
Yeah, there is a lot of brotherly love. Hobos try to take care of each other for the most part. There's a distinction from a hobo. You got to remember, there's a tramp, there's a bum, Now, the real hobos aren't bums, Now, you got to watch out for bums. Bums might have their fingers in your pocket. Bums are people who won't work. Hobos will work, and, in a hobo jungle, some hobo might turn another hobo onto a job, hey, let's go here, and they'll get together. And a lot of times you don't want to ride alone. It gets lonely out there, so, it's nice to come into a hobo jungle, and I always say there's always an audience for a guitar player in a hobo jungle, so I always have an audience there, But, hobo jungles, the hobos have to sleep somewhere. It was funny, we were going to Las Vegas not too long ago for the Hobo Poetry Festival last year, and we found that, we're driving down near the railroad yard, saw a campfire going, we stopped, there's some hobo jungle, and up there we spent the night with him and brought him with us to Las Vegas. Next night he's sleeping in this suite in the Union Plaza Hotel going, wow, where'd you guys come from, And, we're on TV the next day and everything. So, there is a lot of camaraderie in the jungles and stuff, and something to do. It gets boring out there without the TV set,
Where have your travels taken you as far as hoboing around? Have you gone to the back east at all?
I've done a little riding back east. I'm originally from Massachusetts, actually, so I started out doing a little riding there. But basically, lately just around California, Nevada, Oregon and stuff like that. I don't get to go out as much now that I have a kid and stuff. But I make at least 2 or 3 trips every year.
How about another song?
Sure. This one I'll dedicate for, we did that one. I must be on my way. I'll dedicate this one to your father's birthday.
All right, Dad, this is for you.
You can play the harmonica this one.
You bet.
Have a restless feeling. Urge to leave today. Pick a sky blue rose at dawn. Smell the fresh cut hay. After run before my eyes so blind, catch the light of day. Although I love you all, must be on my way. Must be on my way. Hear the hobo music from a jungle in the back. Song it brings a tear to my eye. By the gypsy and the tracks. Have to run before my legs go lame. Get your light of day. Although I love you all, must be on my way. I must be on my way. I must be on my way. Must be on my way.
Thank you. That was lovely. Kevin McKenna and Cue Card Keith. They'll be appearing at Christie's on the 14th of April, Tuesday night. What time?
Well, we'll be there probably anywhere from 7 to midnight. We're going to probably do 2 or 3 sets for the whole band.
And that's in Christie's in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills and Wilshire Boulevard, 1 block east of La Cienega.
And
We'll also be there on the 25th from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. And it should be a good time. Please come. It's free. $2 beers, music. We have a good time.
I'd like to thank you both for coming in this morning. And
thank you very much
thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
For sure.
oh, heck, this is great. This is great.
Well, thank you.
Do you want to go out with a song or something like that? Because we have the news coming up at about 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'll go with the bye-bye song.
All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye. You've been listening to Songs on KPFK. Thank you, Kevin, Keith.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Just a hobo catching a train, trying to keep my footing. I'm a-running in the rain, looking for the northbound, heading up to Maine, playing my guitar, reading Mark Twain. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, bye-bye. 15 years on the open rails, lost my toes, been thrown in jail, burnt by the sun and stung by the hail. Don't have a cent or bills in the mail. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, bye-bye.
faces calling me. Have to leave today. Oh, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Had a wife, she became a drag. If I came home late, she would start to nag. Sweet young girl to a dried up old hag. Give me a jug and a sleeping bag. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, bye-bye. Love the land and the mountain tide. Sleep on the ground underneath the sky. If you lived my life, you would never ask why. I'm so happy I can almost fly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. 'Cause dirty faces calling. Must be on my way. Dirty faces calling. Have to leave today. Oh, bye-bye. Punch some cows, been chased by bulls. Seen a mile of boxcars, the engine pulls. On the pot empty, tasted it full. Been a lumberjack and a shear of wool. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take my last breath in an old boxcar. Staring at the mountains, playing my guitar. Lyric tales of travel, singing to the stars. Drinking wine with hobos from an old jam jar. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, bye-bye. 'Cause dirty faces calling. Must be on my way. Dirty faces calling me. Have to leave today. Oh yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. So long, so long, so long, KPFK. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. Goodbye, John Chartrand Show. Bye-bye, bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. In LA. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Goodbye, so long.